Estimates are there's somewhere between 220,000 people trained. 2 weeks ago, they promised to train another 100,000 in the last 2 weeks. This past week, they changed their mind and decided they would only train 21,000. So their numbers are not very reliable, but if they hit their goal, they will have trained 150,000 people by next Thursday. By my guess, that means they've trained 10% of the remodelers in the U.S. The other 90% will not be trained.
I estimate it's going to be a minimum of $120 for me to come out and do any kind of lead safe practices. That's for one window, one entry door, one garage door, a minimum of $120. Beyond that, of a larger job, I'm estimating it's going to be about 15 to 20% of the cost of the job. This is a direct conflict to President Obama's Home Star program, which is designed to spur purchases of energy-efficient products. Removing the opt-out provision will put an unjust burden on our senior population who can least afford it. We had the good fortune to be part of a conference that was sponsored by the National Association of Manufacturers and the Northeast Window and Door Association. We had the opportunity to meet with Senator Arlen Specter yesterday morning, and to our surprise, he was unaware of this. Okay, in a macro perspective, we did make him aware that this not only affects, our small group here, but the entire remodeling industry in the United States of America that represents $300 billion annually. Okay, currently we're saddled with unemployment of 25 to 27%, and it was quite a shock to Senator Specter, and we may see him here. Just wanted to share some of our successes of yesterday. The NAM conference allowed us to lobby our senators and congressmen around Capitol Hill. They're all back from recess after Easter break, and I had the good fortune myself of meeting with Congressman Charles Dent from Pennsylvania, who represents Allentown, and Jim Lett, and he was very receptive, and we may see him here as well.
The three gentlemen that spoke before me obviously knew the statistics, knew all the rules, knew all the problems that we're envisioning. As they always said, it's like preaching to the choir. You folks know what we're up against. You know what we have to deal with. But what I want to try to lay out for you is to tell you or ask you what you can do about it. And that's the key. As Charlie mentioned, we had the fortune through the National Association of Manufacturers and the Northeast Window and Door Association, who together joined forces to put together a summit to allow us to get involved and to interact with a lot of our senators and congressmen and some very high-level staff people. And as I'm speaking right now, there are many members of the Northeast Window and Door Association who are in the various buildings to the left and to the right of us, who are talking to our congressmen and senators right now, who have set up meetings. In fact, I have one scheduled for 2:30 to go talk to my Congressman Bill Schuster to speak more about this issue. But the biggest thing that we heard over and over again from most of the people we talked to was, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. So we can sit here and we can complain amongst ourselves and commiserate and talk about the fact that this is going to hurt our industry, but it's not going to do any good unless we do something about it. Now, I know many of you are from the great state of New York, and again, we appreciate the support you're giving to this cause. But how many of you, by a raise of hands, may have friends or relatives who are in other states besides the state of New York? Almost everybody does. This is going to affect everybody. This is going to affect not only us as contractors, this is going to affect every individual. As Jim alluded to, the majority of people have no impact. It won't impact them. They don't have children under 6. They don't have pregnant people in their homes. One of the people at one of the meetings actually referred to this as another tax on the elderly. If you have a couple that's 65 years or older and all they want to do is replace the windows in their home, they don't have to worry about lead paint issues are affecting small children, they're still going to be burdened with these unreasonable costs that they are basically paying to support some other entity. What can you do? What you can do is contact your representative. And I know it's tough, and a lot of people hate to do that, but I'll tell you, a lot of people would maybe criticize me in this, but one thing I can thank President Obama for, and I truly, sincerely mean this, is getting me more involved in the political process. He has definitely stimulated me to do a lot of things that 2 or 3 years ago I never thought I would be involved in. I never thought I'd be coming into Washington, D.C. and knocking on doors of politicians that I had never met before to try to speak to them about the issues that affect our industry and the issues that are going to devastate something that we've all grown and loved and has helped us build a nice organization, a nice community, a nice family, a nice industry, and a nice livelihood. So what you need to do between now and April 22nd is contact your congressman, contact your senator, give them a call. And what we've learned yesterday a lot from them is you don't necessarily need to get to that specific individual. Oftentimes, it's the high-level staffers that know more about these things and are the ones that prep and inform the legislators and senators about the issues. So it's not necessarily as important to get to that person, male or female, but get to someone in their office and explain to them what is going on. And if you have a friend or relative into another state, explain to them how it's going to impact them, because it is truly going to impact them. I mean, as we've all gone through the issues of housing costs, that bubble that burst and everyone's housing values went down, can you imagine what it's going to be if you own a home built prior to '78 and you go to sell it and this becomes a very well-known issue? Somebody's going to say, wow, boy, if I want to replace the windows in this home, it has lead paint in it, maybe I'll look for a different home to purchase. And that's going to drive down the value of those homes. And if they're underwater now, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. This is going to affect everybody. And it's been said many times, what are the homes that need it most? Are the homes built before 1978. Those are the ones that need to be energy efficiently renovated.
To do whatever I can to see to it that we postpone this lead paint law. I have, as many of you know, I have, along with my colleague from Long Island, Congressman Israel, we have written to the Environmental Protection Agency urging that there be a delay. And I am in full agreement with them, is that we should impose it in a way that is punitive and impractical and is going to put contractors out of work. And my principal goal here is to see to it that we keep the contractors of this nation doing the work that they are well equipped and well trained to do. And I know that the contractors that I represent are well equipped and well trained to do what they do. But I also know that the vast majority of them lack the certification to do this work effective on April 22nd. And that presents us with a situation that simply is intolerable. And I believe that government has an obligation to lead, government has an obligation to deal with public health, but we also have an obligation to be practical. And it is simply not practical to impose this requirement when so few contractors are trained, so few trainers exist to train the contractors, the equipment is on back order. It's simply not practical to impose it. And so I'm going to do everything that I can possibly do to see to it that we get to the right place here. I want to thank you for your persistence, for your passion, for your leadership, and I think collectively, if we stay at this, we will get it done. And that's certainly my determination. I know it's yours, and hopefully we can bring more to the table and get this done. So thank you all very, very much, and let's stay on. Thank you.